Hi everyone, my name is Aja, and today I want to talk about overconsumption and also share with you all my November TBR and some approaches on how I'm slowing down my own consumption in the month of November. I did want to take a moment to share my gratitude and thanks for everyone engaging with my videos and my content. Feel free to comment. I reply to everyone, and I just really wanted to share my gratitude. My channel just hit 2,000 subscribers, which feels like we just hit 1,000, and I was over the moon about it, but I'm still extremely grateful and excited to keep growing, but to really invest and pour more into these videos. I really want them to be a reflection for all of you. I want them to feel welcoming and very inviting. None of my videos are meant to be judgmental. I just want to provide different perspectives and different approaches to society, culture, and well-being. And I do want to start this video talking about consumption, consumerism, and what that really looks like to us on a daily basis. This idea of consumerism is that the more consumption, the increase of consumption, really benefits the individual, but then also the economy. And this idea continues to put the consumer at the center, at the core, and this can tend to lead to people engaging in excessive materialism. And overconsumption is consuming more resources than we produce. It's the overuse of our available goods and services to where we cannot or do not want to replenish or reuse. When you buy something, for the sake of this video, I'm going to talk about books. When you buy a book, you know that you're going to read it. You spend a week or 2 weeks getting through this book, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer. You are an active participant in the economy every single time you go out and you purchase a good or a service. It becomes overconsumption when you see a creator or you see someone read a book every single day for 30 days or 60 days. And although this is a cool challenge, it is great to see people reading and really spending time outside of the phone, but it is a form of overconsumption if at the end of the 30 or 60 days, you have 30 or 60 books that are now in your collection that will now collect dust. And I think you can consume a lot without it being overconsumption if you are recycling or reusing or creating new intentions and purposes for what you originally purchased. I hope people are gifting these books. I hope people are cycling through their collection every so often to ensure that they are not indulging in overconsumption and they are actually reusing what they buy. For a lot of readers, it is hard to go back and reread a book, to reread a series. And because of that, you can also argue, is it so hard to donate the book? Is it so hard to resell the book? But we see overconsumption in so many different areas. We see that a lot in fashion. There's this culture of not wanting to be seen re-wearing something. I read this quote on Substack last night, and it really just sums up everything I'm trying to say. And it is, overconsumption is the retail equivalent of doom scrolling. And I think that is really spot on to the concept of overconsumption and how we are active participants in it. We all at some point have bought something and only used it 1 or 2 times. We all have looked in our closet and said, I have nothing to wear, when you have 50 plus items in there. When we think of overconsumption, we automatically think about digital use, social media, but it shows up in so many different other areas that if we just take a moment to understand and be more critical and more intentional about what we consume on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a yearly, annual basis, we can see the areas where we are consuming too much and where we can recycle and reuse the goods and services that we have within our own communities. I keep talking about our community because that is what really fuels and drives all of us. It's having a community of friends, it's having a community of immediate family. It's having a community of creatives, of other students, of professionals, of your coworkers who you're able to come to for support, who you're able to have these type of conversations without judgment. It's where you can share knowledge and also tangible things to continue to move all of these available resources to us in a cyclical manner. But I did want to share some approaches on how I am slowing down my own consumption in the month of November. Just moving forward, I'm literally slowing down. I'm just slowing down. I'm slowing down reading. I am refocusing my energy to do one thing at a time. I am no longer watching something as I eat. I'm just going to focus on eating. I am not going to listen to music while I'm also trying to do something else. I'm going to watch videos in full without scrolling or opening up another tab. These are some conscious and intentional ways I hope to just slow down my consumption in November, but I wanted to share more concrete approaches with you all. And that first one falls under just making space and time to digest what it is I'm exposed to, what information I am exposed to, and taking the time to sit in that information, digest it, and try to understand it for myself and in the context of my own experiences. Be critical, and I want to make this another video on how to be more critical of what you consume, but budgeting your attention is recognizing when you are trying to multitask, when you are scrolling while also watching a Netflix show, when you are eating but also watching a YouTube video, when you're reading but also having a show in the background or having, music in the background. And then with money, I'm not an excessive spender. I do not splurge on anything. And if I do plan to buy something, it is always food. I buy books very, very rarely because I have about 3 different library cards that I use. I actually really love this idea of reading a book and then giving it back and thinking about someone else reading it. So definitely go to your local library, get a library card, and you have access to a ton of different books that you can check out, and it'll also be recycled through your local community. The third one is to create before you consume. And this one is going to be a little bit challenging for me solely because I do find a lot of inspiration in some of the creators on YouTube or just in general that I see. And I really like to spend time planning out my videos, collecting information, reading, consuming information to pour into these type of videos. So that one is going to be a little bit hard for me, but I no longer have TikTok, at least on my phone. I don't use TikTok at all on my phone. I'm not sure if I'm going to return to the platform and continue to make short form content, but I don't think I've ever really been a fan of short form videos because it's so fast, because it's so much information at once. I don't think that concept has ever really sat with me. However, I do have a TikTok and I haven't posted in maybe a month or 2 months, but I don't scroll on TikTok anymore. I find that a lot of time passes by and I'm overstimulated extremely fast. So creating before you consume, if you're a writer, it's writing a short story before you read something. For me, I am a filmmaker. I love creating these videos. It's writing a couple lines of script. It's sitting down and just brainstorming, doing a brain dump. Those are some examples on how I can approach creating before I consume. The fourth one is to add friction to buying and also consuming digital media. And that is really just delaying purchases. It's delaying going on your phone. It's delaying consuming anything. I started to bring a book everywhere with me a few months ago so that if I do get this urge of being bored or not having anything to do in that immediate moment, I would pick up the book instead of scrolling, because at least I can focus my attention solely on one thing of reading rather than scrolling and having the exposure to all of this information at once. Delay the purchase by 24 hours, by a day, and see how you feel the next day. Are you still just as excited? Was that a fleeting emotion or feeling that you had? It's really asking yourself all of these hard questions that can seem judgmental, but they're genuine questions on whether or not you need to be consuming or purchasing what it is that you think you need. Treat everything as a raw material. Be critical of it, analyze it, really think about how it's benefiting you, how it's benefiting your community, and what it is that you really want to gain or get from this item or service. And a good example of this, for the sake of this video and books, it's to take notes, it's to annotate your reading. These are library books that I am going to show, at least one of them isn't a library book. It's very hard to see someone genuinely passionate or interested in something that they have and really seeing it as something that they want to engrave in their day-to-day life and their experience. So taking notes, being able to just remix the information that you consume, and then applying it to something else. With books, at least, taking in the knowledge or the lessons that you learned and apply it to a personal curriculum. I know that's a huge trend. Applying it to your conversations, applying it to your own beliefs and values. I want to leave you all with these two questions. It should go from what do I want next to what can I build from what I already have. Now to finally get into my November TBR, this first book is Symphony of Secrets. It's a novel by Brendan Slocum, and it's about this professor who is tasked with verifying a very popular jazz musician and some of their work. So I'm excited to read this. This was actually a gift to me, so I do want to annotate it and take notes and really get messy with my own copy. Right now in my collection, I own 20 books, which seems like a lot. I have acquired these over the last 5 years, I would say. Some of these are much older books that I read a couple years ago, and I do want to donate and just give them back to my local library or just thrift store, because I don't read them anymore and I haven't reread them. So that's something that I do plan on doing this month. And just moving forward, I do have books that I haven't picked up in a while, and it is nice to look at. It's aesthetically pleasing to have a collection of books, but if they're just sitting there, I don't see the benefit. I don't see the need. But I am excited to have a fresh book in my collection, get messy with the annotations, and be critical of it. This next book I actually just started reading a few nights ago, and it's called The Turner House. I actually heard about this author. Her name is Angela Flournoy. I was watching an interview with Issa Rae, and she talked about her as an author and just had very positive things to say about her writing, and so far I'm enjoying it. It follows a storyline of 13 children, and they all cycle through their family house. They go on to have kids of their own and their own lives, and as their parents have gotten older, they have to decide what they're going to do with their family home. So it's a beautiful book so far. I'm really enjoying the different dynamics and just learning about all 13 of the children in their different paths. So I'm excited to finish this. I'm about 32 pages in, and this is another read for this month. This next book was actually recommended to me, but I did hear how good the movie was, and it is Nickel Boys. I really want to watch the movie because it's a really good actor, and I'm forgetting his name, but I know he's a really good actor, and I just heard that the movie was amazing. So it is one of those reads that I have to really find the right time to read it. It is about a strand of American history through the story of two boys sentenced to a hellish reform school in Jim Crow era Florida. So it's heavy, but it is already a really good read. I am the type of person to read 2 books at once. I like to read one in the early morning hours and then one in the evening or at night. This next one I actually finished a few days ago. I finished before November, and I thought it was going to be one of my November reads, but I wanted to share it anyways because I do plan on reading the second book in this series, and it is the Robert Langdon series by Dan Brown. I just finished the first book, Angels and Demons. It is a great read. It was almost 600 pages, so it took me pretty much the whole month of November. The whole month of October, but it was such a great read. It is a historical fiction about the Illuminati, the Vatican, and Rome, and it just follows this professor the symbologist who goes on this adventure to find the Illuminati, and he just goes on this whole quest around Rome, and it's great. A lot of action, a lot of deception and plot twists, which is needed in an almost 600-page read, but I enjoyed it so much, and I do want to read the second book in the series. I don't even know the name of the second book, but that is going to be another added book in my November TBR. Well, I hope you all enjoy this video. I really just wanted to share some approaches to how you can slow down your consumption in the month of November and moving forward in general. I also wanted to share some of the books that I will be reading and the intention behind slowing down my reading, being more reflective, and taking notes. Again, thank you so much for supporting my channel, for commenting and sharing your thoughts. It is much, much appreciated, and I love reading my comments and responding to everyone. I want to continue to grow this channel and grow this community in this little corner of the internet, but I want it to feel very welcoming, non-judgmental, and a space for everyone to reflect and have a good time. So I hope you all enjoy this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!